morning, everyone. Aloha. How is everyone today? You may be wondering why I stopped the music, which I don't normally do. It's because I want to offer the Hawaiian chant that I learned last year to start off the service today. So I'm going to invite us all to just relax, and here's what the Hawaiian chant means. Ia la'e, kalai kahikina, I kamoana hohonu, Pi'i kaleva nu'u, I kahikina, akai ala, Ia la'e. Eala'e means arise, and if you feel like you would like to rise, I welcome you to do that as we start off with our opening song. Something great has happened, and love has taken hold, and it won't let go of us now. Something here is calling us forward, upward motion. We're drops in one ocean. Roll on. Will you rise up with me today? Lift up your voice and boldly say, we are the ones we've been waiting for. Live the dream of your highest calling. Be the voice of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together. Share your gifts with the world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's the moment of our greatness. Let's stand together now. Whoa, whoa. Do you want to take this one or me? Every day's a chance you can do something amazing, to feel your passion blazing and shine. Paint with every vision and dance in new directions. Explode to new heights in your mind. I will rise up with you today. Lift up my voice and boldly say, we are the ones we've been waiting for. Live the dream of your highest calling. Be the voice of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together. Share your gifts with the world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's the moment of our greatness. Let's stand together. Live the dream of your highest calling. Be the voice of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together. Share your gifts with the world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's the moment of our greatness. Let's stand together now. Let's stand together now. Woo, yes, 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 let's stand together. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Unity of Tucson. I'm Reverend Dr. Jonathan Zenz. I am the senior minister here. And it is a delight to welcome myself back, and welcome you back to this beautiful Sunday experience. Today is Aloha Sunday, because I did just return back from Hawaii, where I have gone every year for about the past decade to go on a spiritual sacred retreat there. And it's always quite an experience. And this year, well, you're going to hear about it. It was not the retreat I expected. It was not the sacred journey I expected, but it was a blessing nonetheless. Like I said, you're going to hear all about it. I do want to offer my heartfelt gratitude to those who made last week unfold so magnificently. Reverend William Gill and Chelsea Hicks as our guests. Thank you so much. Thank you, Reverend William. You know, one of the ministers do not give up the stage easily, right, William? Knowing that this is a community that has such magnificent, inspirational people as part of it that are always here. And we are a community. You know, it's not about me, it's about us, and I'm so grateful for that. Now, you may not believe everything you hear this week, or today, or ever. You know what? If it's going to be truly Aloha Sunday, I think that this is... I'm going to ground myself now. You may not believe everything you hear today. And that is okay, because one of the things that is important to me about this movement, about the New Thought movement, which Unity is a part of, about this philosophy is that it is a philosophy that invites us into the question. And so if there are beliefs, if there's something that is expressed here today and it butts up against your belief system, don't immediately write it off. Be willing to go on the journey of exploration around why does it butt up against my belief system so much? Maybe there's something in there for me to look at, because as Jesus said, it is done unto you as you believe. And so our beliefs are the things that are creating our constructs of life. They're creating our experiences of life. And as we address our beliefs, we can enhance the quality of our lives. That's what the whole New Thought philosophy is about. So be on the journey with me today. What do you say? Now, part of what we teach here, we do teach a vision and a mission that we have adopted here in this organization to be guiding lights, guiding principles for us. And I would love for us as a community to state out loud these words first of our vision statement. We envision a world awakened to its magnificence. And that is how we choose to see the world. How we get there, the practical steps around that are what our mission is inviting us into. So let's state these words of our mission statement together. Love only, forgive everything, remember who you are. Love only, forgive everything, and remember who you are. That's the work. I mean, it can be work. And it can be joyful in the expression of that work. So let's consider that as well today, that this is a journey of joy. If you're joining us for the first time today, we don't always wear leis on Sunday. But why not today? It's a delight to have you here. I want to first say welcome to everyone who may be watching us online for the first time today. Whether you're watching live Sunday morning or watching subsequently in the archive at another time, just know that we are grateful for your participation in this experience, and we feel your energy. We know your energy. And if you would go to unitytucson.com/connect, you can fill out some information there, and we can continue this conversation. Yes, and if you're here in the room for the first time today, now it was an anomaly last week. Nobody was new last week. But if you're here for the first time this week, and if you are willing to identify yourself, because I know that's uncomfortable for some people, but if you're willing to identify yourself so that we can spread some love towards you, would you stand up or raise your hand if you're new this week? Welcome, grateful to have you here. Yes, blessings to you. Blessings to you. And so we know something about you, and we want to share what it is we have learned about you. So shall we let them know? Here we go, 1, 2, 3. You are magnificent. Yes, and I love, she's like, yes, accepting that. Thank you so much. You can be seated. Yes, and we know that about you because magnificence is inherently part of who we are. And so I hold firm in my faith that you are a reflection of my own magnificence, and I'm reflecting your magnificence, and we're in this infinite reflection of magnificence. So let's state together out loud as a community these words. I am magnificent. How does that feel? Let's do it again. I am magnificent. Yes, indeed. Another magnificent element of our celebration each Sunday is that we honor all faith traditions, all religions, and understand that all of them are pointing to the one power, the one presence, the one understanding, the one love that we call God. And so here to guide us this week in a ceremony that we have adopted here called Lighting the Flames of Faith, please welcome our keepers of the flames today, Sue Crake and Sherry Hoffman.
And good morning, all you beautiful, magnificent spirits. We light a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous people, the practices, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. And we light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. And we light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to divine love as the highest calling. And we light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And we light a candle for all of those who are yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space we are holding for them and for all faith traditions unnamed in this ceremony. And this final candle is the healing candle. It represents the revealing of divinity at the core of all experiences. This is your candle for whatever is in your heart and your mind that requires the light. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Sherry. This is our peace candle. And as you all know, we keep this peace candle consistently illuminated with this understanding that its consistent illumination is a representation of a consistent illumination of peace in our own hearts. And as we allow our inner peace to inform our thoughts, our ideas, our intentions, and our actions, right where each and every one of us is, we are creating a more peaceful world, a more peaceful universe. And so let's honor that, honor this idea, and honor peace by sharing together this prayer for world peace. Divine love indwells each person and radiates from one to another. Harmony is established and peace reigns in the world. It is a delight to have our prayer chaplains and ministers share each week a reading and guide us in our monthly affirmation and also lead us in prayer. And here, this is your first time, right?
Yes.
Yes, here, providing that for the first time is one of our newest prayer chaplains, Elizabeth Quinn Worrell.
Thank you. Aloha. Aloha. And good morning. Our focus this month is on transformation, and I would like to share a little something from Don Miguel Ruiz. He's the author of The Four Agreements. The book has been around for a few years. It's copyrighted in the year 2000. I thought what he had to say about transformation was enlightening. Everything that exists is in an eternal transformation. Everything in nature, all of creation is changing. Creation is happening in the moment. It has no beginning. It has no end. It is ongoing. Energy is always transforming because it is alive. Life is the force that makes the transformation of energy possible. The force of life that opens a flower is the same force that makes us grow older. Look at your physical body and just imagine how you used to look when you were 5 years old compared with now. It still is you, but the body is completely different. It has changed. The dream of the planet is also changing, but more slowly than the personal dream. Even matter, the frame of the dream, is always changing. Some things change so slowly that we don't notice them changing. But in 1 year, we notice the change, or in 10 years, we notice the change. The buildings we live in are changing, although very slowly. The trees and the mountains, all of nature changing because life is passing through everything, and everything is reacting to life. Our personal dream the whole interaction between the dream and the dreamer is constantly shifting and changing. But in the virtual reality, in our mind, we try to stop things from changing. Humans get attached sometimes to the dream. We resist the transformation of life. And this attachment, this resistance, creates emotional pain. But by nature, we are born with the capacity to adapt to transformation, to adapt to constant change. And so it is. Okay? Oh, yes. So our affirmation for this month on transformation is it coming up? I will say it once, and then please take that in for a thought, and we'll repeat it together 2 times. I am an evolutionary transformer, living a deep and rich personal life experience. It's up there. Okay, together. I am an evolutionary transformer, living a deep and rich personal life experience. A big breath, and we'll do that again. I am an evolutionary transformer, living a deep and rich personal life experience. Thank you.
Take a moment to relax right where we are, each and every one of us. Taking the opportunity to come to center, allowing ease and grace in this moment. Just be.
I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith, and I am stronger every moment, every day. My mind is willing and my heart is open wide. I trust my instincts and let Spirit be my guide. I vow to live a life that's real and true and free as I go walking every day in this mystery. I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith, and I am grateful every moment, every day.
In these prayerful moments, we surrender, we relax, breathe deeply, and allow our focus to go within. We align with the divine love, divine presence that is our true divine identity. We surrender to divine wisdom, strength, and guidance, and allow the path before us, this moment, every moment, to be revealed, to be lightened. We step forward, I step forward in faith. I step forward in knowing divine peace is present in me. And as divine peace is part of my most divine identity, I allow this divine peace to spread. I share divine peace in every moment. I see divine peace in me, in all others, and in all of the affairs. In all the affairs of our experiences, divine peace reigns. I am transformed by the renewal of my mind, the renewal of my spirit, and the renewal of my heart. I'm deeply, deeply grateful for the faith to surrender and know that I am transforming, and as I am transformed, all is transforming in my experience. And so it is. Thank you, Divine Spirit, always, within me and in all. Amen.
I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith, and I am kinder every moment, every day. Oh, I am stronger every moment, every day. Yes, I am grateful every moment, every day.
So it is. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Elizabeth. Congratulations on your first.
I wasn't going to bring
Did
that up.
great.
Thank you.
And thank you, Aaron. Thank you. We're going to leave Hawaii for just a moment and head down to New Orleans. Are you ready for that? Yeah. Our guest singer today came forth with this song, and I just said, oh, I love this song. You're going to love it too. So please welcome Beryl Varno.
Good morning. Oh, you know, the first time I got on this stage in February and I said I was very excited, I was really nervous. Now I'm really excited, and I truly am excited. And I want to say, before I begin singing this song, Linda, Raphael, Paul, oh man, they are going to rock the roof off of this building, okay? So I would encourage you, if you are able-bodied and you can stand up or you can dance in a wheelchair or whatever you want to do to move your body, by all means, have at it. When
on the other side. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, go Beryl. Well, so there's a lot that's going on for me right now. When Beryl sent me that song, she wasn't sure about it. You know, because what is the song talking about? It's talking about transition, right? It's talking about the physical transition from this plane of action, which many people refer to as death. Right? It's like that's a bad word. It's not. It's simply a transition, and it ain't over when it's over. It ain't over when it's over. It's the whole point of the song. It ain't over when it's over. I do have a little bit of an issue with it's better on the other side. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think it's as good as we can make it right here and right now, and it's going to be the same when we make our transition, and we get to decide that it's better right now. So that's just me, but Kelly Hunt can write the lyrics that she wants to write, and you get to sing the lyrics that she writes, and that's all good. But it ain't over when it's over. The soul lives on, and it never dies. And I hold firm in that faith for myself as part of this teaching, because the soul that you perceive as your own soul is your individualization of the infinite soul, which can never cease to be. It can never cease to be. And so no matter what, we continue in some way. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's reincarnation in the way that some people teach it. Here's the thing. I don't think we go into a primordial soup. I think the important thing to know is that the nature of the divine is to express. And so no matter what, when we shift and transition from this expression, we express in some other fashion. But while I'm here in this expression, I'm going to make the most of it. How about you? Yeah. So I did just return back from Hawaii. It was my 9th sacred journey experience in the last decade. I missed 1 year. Go figure, it was 2020. And I've gone to this sacred retreat, which is the product of a couple of my colleagues who founded the Center for Spiritual Living Kauai there. They were classmates of mine. And while I was there, like every year I've gone, I'm like, oh, we have all of these exciting events that unfold, and they do these workshops, and it's really, really great. This year, and they theme it every year. This year was the journey of remembrance, which I thought that's really an interesting kind of idea as a theme, the journey of remembrance. What are we remembering? Well, I can tell you what I'm usually striving to remember. It's to remember who I am and to live that every single day. So the journey of remembrance was actually a celebration of their 10th year in ministry there and the 10th sacred journey. And so they actually brought back a lot of the events that they had done in previous sacred journey experiences, and we got to experience them all over again. And every year, there's something new to be gleaned from it. This year was no different. But before I tell you about how this year unfolded, I want to actually go back a little ways to 2004. Before my colleagues were in ministry, before I was in ministry, we were eyeing that idea of stepping into the education to become ministers. In 2004, that's when I first walked into a New Thought community. I talked about it a couple weeks ago before I left, that I grew up unchurched. I'm not going to go and rehash all of that. I grew up unchurched, and I found myself in a New Thought community in 2004. I would say by accident, but there are no accidents. It was absolutely the right place for me to be, and I had attracted myself to that experience. That's the way the law of attraction works. I did not attract the experience to me. I attracted myself to the experience. Think about that. I walk into the NoHo Art Center for New Thought for the very first time, and I hear a minister, like I am now, speaking what I later adopted into my own heart as the truth for me. And it resonated with me in a way that felt right. That person that was speaking became my primary teacher and mentor, and still a very, very dear, good friend, Dr. James Mellon, whom many of you met when he was here last year, when he bestowed the doctorate on me. Part of that training, he introduced me to the concept of God for grown-ups. So, now I'm starting to tie it together. Today is the first Sunday of our Fall Renewal Series. And in the Fall Renewal Series, we invite everyone to participate in small group book study. And each Sunday, ostensibly, I speak about the concepts for the chapters that you're invited to read for that week. So we're reading the book, The 5 Principles by Reverend Ellen Davenport. And she's going through the 5, what they call the 5 basic principles of unity. And when you get into it, they're not so basic. They're simple ideas, and the embodiment of them are what we are all working towards, I believe. So in the first chapter, which is God is all there is, that's the first principle, God is all there is, she goes through this list and series of talking about God for grown-ups. And that's what I really came to understand and love about the New Thought philosophy when I was introduced to it almost 20 years ago now. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the things she says. So this is God for grown-ups. She talks about God for grown-ups in 3 ways. First, the first God for grown-ups is the one that meets us where we are and welcomes our questioning, growing, changing, and doubting. How many spiritual centers, and I'm going to use a different term for spiritual centers, how many churches? William is like, no! Have you ever walked into where they say, doubt your concept of God? That there is value in doubting your concept of God. And when I talk about doubt, the idea of doubt is to be in the questioning space, to allow yourself to say, is this true? Is this true for me? And if this is true, how will I choose to move forward with this as an adopted truth in my life? So the power of New Thought philosophy for me, as I said before, is in the questioning. It is the invitation to question and to recognize that we are consistently on the journey. And you're probably not going to like this, but there's no destination because it ain't over when it's over. There's no destination. We're on a consistent unfolding journey. And then she talks about religions. Religions are, I got to put my glasses back on. Religions are but feeble attempts to describe our varied experience of the unknown, Ellen Davenport wrote. We need a growing, malleable image of God that expands with each spiritual insight we glean. Are you willing to expand a malleable image of God as you gain insight in your life? Is that part of a practice for you? And I want to acknowledge, too, that I have come very far, even in the New Thought movement, to step forward and hold firm in this place of faith, to be able to step up and say, I am God, you are God, because there can be nothing separate from the infinite. How can I be anything other than that? I'm going to, again, give the caveat which I give every time I say this, which is to say, I am not saying I am the allness of God. I am not saying that I have great dominion over you, but I do have dominion in my experience of life because I have thoughts. I am a thinker, and my experience of life is rooted in the thought. And so as I have the experience of life, I have dominion around my relationship to the experience in the thoughts that I have about the experience. And so if I'm having an experience that sucks, you ever hear that on a Sunday? If I'm having an experience that sucks, I get to change my mind about it. I get to reframe it in my own mind. And you know what happens for me? The experience transforms itself for me, even in light of the exact same circumstances. So in New Thought, I'm an outlier. I think we're kind of moving in this direction to truly stop duality in our teaching, in the language that we use. Duality meaning God out there in some fashion. Now, God is out there, and I want to let you off the hook. If that's where you are, that's okay too, but be willing to look at it. Be willing to look at it and say, maybe if I adopted the idea that I am that which is, my life would be different, if that's what you're seeking. So, the first God for grown-ups idea, God as one that meets us where we are and welcomes our questioning, growing, changing, and doubting. Second, God for grown-ups has to be more than Santa Claus. How many of us write our letter to Santa Claus asking, pleading for the gift? You are the gift. You are the gift. Can you understand that? At least that's how I perceive you. I see you as the gift. How do you see yourself? God is not Santa Claus. God is not coming down the chimney and giving us presents. God is the magnificence that we are. And you know what I love about this idea? Is it alleviates any concept that there is punishment for the way I experience my life. There is no punishment. And there is no salvation. For how many of us is that a direct contradiction to what we were taught growing up in our religion of origin, in our spiritual idea of origin? There is no salvation, except in this way. What we need to be saved from, and there's no one who can do this except us, we need to be saved from our own erroneous thinking. And we are the only ones who can do that. It doesn't matter how many words of wisdom I spew from up here, it will do nothing for you until you decide for yourself that you are the Savior in your own life. There is no Savior out there. You are the Savior. There is no naughty or nice. There is no naughty or nice. God, she continues, is the creative force far outside the human pattern of thinking. Any limits to God are our own. Any way that we limit the concept of God, that's our own doing. And it makes it a challenge, too, because we can't really understand or conceptualize the infinite, because the moment we try to conceptualize the infinite, well, in that conceptualization, we've now put borders around it, and the infinite has become finite. So there's no way for us to truly conceptualize the infinite. So you know what the infinite is for me, and this is how I know that I have a relationship with as God? I feel it. It is beyond language. It is beyond thought. It is a feeling. It is an energetic impulse. It is the vibration of all that is, and I recognize myself as part of the wholeness of it. While we were here, and Elizabeth was offering her prayer, and I was standing back here, I became acutely aware of the birds outside. Did you hear the birds outside? Like they were, and I've never heard that from inside here. And I just started thinking, wow, we are all in this together. We are an energetic wholeness that is all in this together, including the birds, including. It also invites us into a space of responsibility to really address our thoughts and our beliefs. And as we observe the circumstances all around us, and there are a lot of circumstances to observe. Turn on the television, you're going to see a lot of circumstances to observe. You get to decide your relationship to those circumstances and whether or not you are in alignment with what we say every week. My thoughts, my actions, my intentions, my deeds are rooted in the inner peace that I am, and as I allow that to inform my experience, I am a center of peace for the entire world. And it can be hard, not going to deny that, because we can watch the television, I'm trying not to, but we can watch the television and make a decision. Any limits to God are our own. And so I'm going to invite us all to unlimit ourselves, more so today than ever before. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about God because the language is clumsy. I'm going to talk about God as though God is a being. Right? Like, what? I'm going to talk about God as though God is something. And it is. It's all thing. But if God were something and God had a desire of unfoldment, that would be its only desire, unfoldment. Today's talk is called the impulse to impress. The impulse to impress. That is what God is. God is the impulse to impress. The impulse meaning a driving motivation or force. That is a consistent movement of energy. That impulse is a consistent movement of energy. And God is this consistent movement of energy to impress or to apply an imprint. And what follows in that mental imprint is the expression of life. So God is the impression, and what we are experiencing is the expression. That's all that God is, the creative force that is all that is. And that's all that God is, the impulse to impress, and from that flows expression. Third part of God for grown-ups is this. God, most people want to believe, is involved in their lives. How involved are you in your own life? Or are you deferring that involvement to something outside yourself? Here's the thing, it can sometimes feel good like we're wrapped up and held by a parental figure. But I think it's time that we be God for grown-ups. What do you believe? Is God involved in your life? And really the follow-up is to really live that question. How involved am I in my own life? Descriptions of the divine force in the world have blossomed into a fascinating array of expressions, she continued on. There are as many expressions as there are impulses to impress, and that is infinite. if God had desire, there would be only one desire: impression leading to expression. God wants to express. That is life. Life wants to happen. I saw it on the sacred journey. There was one day we were at the 88 shrines, the Loai Institute. There are 88 Buddhist shrines. They are a representation of a pilgrimage in Japan. And it's actually a pilgrimage that I'm thinking about now that I've walked the Camino. It's a little bit longer. It's 1,000 kilometers. But there was a fallen tree near the shrines. And from that tree was new growth. And it is always, when I see things like that, it is always a reminder to me that life wants to happen. Life wants to happen. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about my week in Hawaii, because this actually goes into alignment with what she gets to a little bit later in the chapter when she starts talking about, under the heading, terrible things happen. And those terrible things butt up against our belief system sometimes and make us question what it is we are experiencing. So last Sunday, a week ago today, I was staying with Rita and Patrick. James was staying with Rita and Patrick as well. And get up in the morning pretty early usually, because 4:30 a.m. not so bad for me because it's 7:30 a.m. in Tucson, so I was sleeping in that day. Get up, have some coffee, have a quick bite to eat. James gets up, he comes downstairs. Rita and Patrick are bustling around trying to get themselves ready to get out the door to go to their spiritual center so that they can hold their Sunday celebration. James and I stay behind because we're going to follow along in another car behind them about an hour after that. Rita and Patrick leave, and James comes up to me and says, "Jonathan, I think I need to go to the hospital." Okay, he says, I didn't want to tell Rita and Patrick this because I don't want to derail them emotionally before they lead their Sunday service. He said, "I think I may have had a heart attack last night." He had been feeling pain in his left shoulder and his left arm. He had had an injury in his left shoulder, so he wasn't sure if the pain he was feeling was related to the injury or something else going on. But he said, "I woke up in the middle of the night, shortness of breath. I have this pain in my arm. I want to make sure that I go to the hospital." I said, "Okay, let's go to the hospital." He said, "After church." Are you sure? Yeah, after church. Okay. So we go to church, and we have the experience of sitting there as sacred journeyers, and they do a whole thing. They process the sacred journeyers in. There's 20 of us. We do a procession in, and the whole community in Kauai and their community welcomes us. It's so grateful to have you here, and blessings on this unfoldment of your week and all this. And James comes in, and when we get down at the end of the procession, they've left one chair here and one chair there over on the other side, but James knew that he wanted me to sit next to him, so he turns to everybody and says, "Can you all move down?" And it's very James in a lot of ways. So everybody gets up and they move down a seat, and so we sit down. And he took my hand, and I can feel his hand shaking basically through the whole service. But he doesn't want to upset the cart. What he did not know is that they were giving him an award that day, too. And so he was invited to come up on stage and receive an award. And the minute the service was over, he walks up to me and says, "We need to go right now." So I get him in the car. We didn't even call 911. I should have called 911. But we also didn't want to upset the cart. We don't want everyone to freak out. We get in the car. We drive to the hospital. We go in. They do the tests, the blood, blah, all that stuff. "Yes, sir, you are having a heart attack. We need to medevac you right away over to Oahu." And so that was the Sunday of a sacred journey that began on Friday night. And so the remainder of the sacred journey for me was mostly spent in the hospital with him. Now, I want you to know, he's fine. He is absolutely fine. They went in. I went with him in the little plane over the ocean to Oahu. Not necessarily the kind of private flight I'd ever like to have again. We get there, rush him to the hospital. They go in, they prep him. They go in the cardiac catheterization. They go in, they look, they install 3 stents. He was in ICU. things are going well, the numbers are evening out, everything is going fine, right? And what's unusual is they actually discharged him from the ICU. They didn't move him to a regular room. You never get discharged from the ICU, right? So they discharged him. They said, you're doing so well, we're going to discharge you from the ICU. Great. Discharge, we go back to the airport, we buy our, they get you over there, but then you have to get your own plane tickets to go back. So we go to the airport, we buy our tickets, and we take our flight back to Kauai. And James says, I think I'm just going to lay low. I might go, if something doesn't seem too stressful, I might go to part of the sacred journey. I'm like, great. So relaxed time for the next couple days. Wednesday night, we go to the beach bonfire. I said, James, I think maybe go out to the beach, enjoy the ocean. You don't have to do anything except just sit there. So we go to the beach bonfire. So if you saw pictures, you'll note that's kind of the only pictures I put forth that whole week. Thursday morning, he gets up. I think we need to go back to the hospital. Okay, this time we called 911. Yeah. Paramedics arrive, they take him to the hospital, and they do all the tests again, and they say, well, we think you might be having a second heart attack. And so, off we go again. Get back onto our private flight over to Oahu, and we go back to the hospital and go into the, this time they didn't put him in the ICU. They put him into a regular room, and the cardiologist comes up, and he's standing there, and he's talking to James, and he says, you know what? Now that I'm speaking with you, and I'm seeing what I'm seeing, I'm actually not worried. We're going to do another cardiac catheterization, but I'm going to go in and I'm going to expect to see absolutely nothing. That's a mind. That's a great cardiologist who says, my expectation is that we're going to find nothing. I want that person to work on me if I don't welcome that into my life. But if that were to happen, I would want that man as my cardiologist. They went in, found nothing. Everything is fine. So whatever he was experiencing, they have some ideas about what it may have been, but he was fine. But we spent the night in the hospital. I spent the night sleeping on a reclining chair next to him. And wake up the next morning, they do the tests, they discharge him, we fly back to Kauai. That was on Friday, and I got back just in time to go have lunch, pack myself, and get on a plane coming back to the mainland. So the sacred journey was a little different for me this year. And I could look at that part of the book where Ellen Davenport talks about terrible things happening, and I can look and say, wow, that was a really terrible thing that happened. But where am I placing my conscious power? Where am I placing my conscious power? Am I placing my conscious power on the revealing of the divinity in the situation, or am I going into fear and allowing fear to drive my experience? Life is consciousness. Life is consciousness, and life wants to happen. James is fine. He's absolutely fine. Our mind is the place where we are experiencing reality. And we are living by constantly creating ideas in mind that show up as the way we experience reality. We have a jargon term for that. We call those ideas in mind that show up in our reality as the mental equivalent. Whatever we are thinking is showing up in our life. That is God's nature. That is our impulse to impress. The mental equivalent is the impression that shows up as the expression. And so it's a call to each and every one of us to this idea. How are we choosing to impress with the idea of our own expression? It all is rooted in that first principle. God is all there is. And every circumstance, whether we call it good or bad, is simply a circumstance. We're the ones who describe it. And so there's a lot of lessons that I will be learning through this experience. I'm not going to deny, I'm probably still in a little bit of a stress response. I probably have a tremendous amount of adrenaline and cortisol running through my system. And I may have a crash later. How will I choose to experience that circumstance? That's the lesson. Because if God is all there is, that must be who we are. And that's actually next week's talk. But I'm going to invite us all to relax right now. simply allow. I want to do a little centering. And in this experience of centering, I just want us to notice. I'm going to read this passage from the Bhagavad Gita that Ellen Davenport wrote in the book. So if it's safe and comfortable for you to close your eyes, simply do that. Allow yourself to have this time, relaxed and easeful, letting go of any unnecessary physical tension. Just notice. Just notice. And now notice what's behind the noticing. Notice what you notice. By me is this entire universe pervaded. All things are in me, and I in them. Know that as the mighty wind blowing everywhere rests in the sky, all created beings rest in me. I am the Father, the Mother, the Supporter, and the Grandsire of the universe.
In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release. As my heart opens up to the voice, I awake to these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God, I find myself.
I invite you into a prayerful time with me, rooted in this understanding that there is only one presence, one power, one creative source. There is the universal unfoldment of creation. There's an energy and nothing else. And while I choose to call it God, it is known by many names. But I recognize God as that good, orderly direction, the greatness on demand that we are all equal to. I hold firm that that is so in my own heart, for there is only this one power, and this is who and what we must be. This is our identity. This is my identity, the identity of each and every one of us. And so as I allow the unfoldment of the divine to take its rightful place in the expression and experience of my life, I know that I am the driver of the unfoldment for myself, and this is true for each and every one of us. And so I allow the expression to be an impression from the impulse of love. That's all I allow. And it is with gratitude overflowing from within that I simply let this be as I relax, release, let go, and allow, and affirm this by saying, and so it is. Amen.
In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release. As my heart opens up to the voice, I awake to these precious moments when I hear all that I find God, I find myself.
Thank you. Some of you may be wondering, but what about the homework? The homework during the fall renewal basically is going to be the same every week. If you have the book, read the next chapter. That's all I'm going to ask you to do. It's a fantastic book. I'm assuming we may still have some copies of it left in the bookstore if you'd like to pick one up today. It is The 5 Principles by Ellen Davenport. If we sell out, well, we will order more. I'm just taking this breath, and I'm inviting William Gill, Reverend William Gill, to join me here on the platform as he's going to guide us in our sharing. Thank you so much, Reverend William.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha. Can you hear me? Would you say that good things are happening at this center?
Yes.
And the rest of you?
That's my joke,
I borrowed it.
but you are welcome to it.
Thank you. Well, I myself think that great things are happening at the center. That's why I show up. And in thinking about what I wanted to say today, we have a vision and mission statements, but I have made a vision and mission statements for myself for the center. And that vision statement is that this center has all that it needs to have to do what we are called to do. That's my vision, that we always have all that we need to have to do what we're called to do. The mission, how we get there, is that I see when a day comes, and to get a little Jeremiah-ish on you, the day will come when each one of us throws one of these in the basket. Everyone. And this means that you are giving to the center by automatic deduction. So it happens every week or month or whatever, which way you do it. Because when we all give on a recurrent basis, the center will always have what it needs to have to do the work that it has been called to do. So let's see if we can effect our vision and mission in our center. For now, you may give a cash or check. You may point your phone's camera up to that square thing on the wall there. And a little link is going to come up, tap on that, and then you can go to our website where you can give. Or there is a text number there where you can text to that number and also get a link to give through our website. Let us be in the day where this center has all that it needs to have to do all that we're called to do, because we all always make sure that happens. And I personally thank you for that.
Thank you, Reverend William. As the baskets go around, we're going to sing our celebration of giving song.
Back to me, knowing my oneness with everything else I
went into a passe there. I was like, here to guide us in the blessing of the offering, please welcome Prayer Chaplain Sherry Hoffman.
Let's take all that lovely energy and point it towards these baskets and these gifts and say together, we bless these gifts and we see these gifts going out and blessing our community and the world. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Sherry. Before we go into the announcements, I do want to let you know that I did get permission from James to talk about his story today. I wouldn't just come up here and say, oh, my friend had a heart attack without him knowing that I was going to talk about it. So I just wanted to make sure that you had that understanding. But here's what's happening here at Unity of Tucson.
It's Sunday, October 22nd, 2023, and here's what's happening at Unity of Tucson. If you haven't already done so, now's the time to purchase tickets to Unity of Tucson's Gratitude Gala. Ticket sales end October 24th. That's just 2 days away. You don't want to miss this night full of friends, fun, great food, shopping, and fabulous entertainment. Ride sharing will be available for those who need it. Purchase your tickets today and come be a part of a joyful evening under the stars. Do you know that Unity of Tucson offers a midweek spiritual practice? Join us each Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. for the Silent Unity Prayer Service. It's about 30 minutes of contemplation and affirmation held in the prayer room. Unity of Tucson is actively collecting photos highlighting our community taken by anyone participating in activities here at Unity of Tucson. Do you have any photos to share on your smartphone? You can upload them directly to us using the convenient QR code provided in the foyer. Unity of Tucson will be sure to ask permission from anyone identified in the photos prior to sharing them publicly. Please join Unity of Tucson as we gather to fight hunger here in Tucson. It's time to move our feet for the Crop Hunger Walk, Sunday, November 5th. Please see Joyce Hawley in Harmony Hall for more details and to sign up to be a walker, a sponsor, or both. Let's move our feet to end hunger locally and throughout the world. Join the Blanket Brigade. Unity of Tucson is collecting blankets and sleeping bags in anticipation of the cold nights that are on the horizon. The collection will be delivered to Sister Jose's shelter for distribution to those in need. We will be collecting now through November 12th. And coming up next Sunday, October 29th, plan on attending Unity of Tucson's monthly potluck. Bring a delicious side dish or dessert to share. See Molly Nelson in the bookstore to RSVP. You can find out more about all our events, classes, and other offerings in the Desert Light Book and Gift Store or online at unitytucson.com. Have an amazing and magnificent week.
Yes, indeed. Our prayer chaplains in service today are Don Brazil and Sherry Hoffman. Don, who led the meditation this morning, and Sherry, who led us in the blessing. Grateful that they will be available to you for a moment of prayer following the celebration today if you need it. They'll be right here in the sanctuary. You can also submit your prayer intentions in our prayer intention box by writing them out and putting them in the box, and know that they are prayed over, handled by our entire prayer chaplain community, and they are also subsequently sent to Silent Unity in Kansas City, which is Unity Worldwide Ministries World Prayer Ministry. That's what I'm trying to say, is the World Prayer Ministry of Unity. I would love to know what happened with the youth today. Please welcome Jessica Brunk, who's here to talk to us about what happened with our kiddos. Hello.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We had a little group today. We had our 3 here, and then we also had our friend Anthony. Oh, wait, we're not going to run around the stage. Okay. We had an eventful morning. We got a bloody nose. Anyway, but yeah, we did a lot of things today, but the biggest thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is that we practiced a lot of using our words today and expressing to others when we feel like they are touching us or in our boundaries or being too loud, and how to express that in a kind way, but also advocate for our own needs. We cut our finger too, apparently. Yeah, and then also making sure we were respecting each other, and if someone was in their seat and then they got up, making sure we keep their seat for them. Okay, put it in my hand. Okay. Anyway, so we got to really practice how to be friends and take care of each other, but also advocate for our own needs this morning.
Beautiful.
So it was a really great morning.
Why am I barefoot? Because it's Aloha Sunday. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jessica. Thank you for your service. I want to say thank you to everybody who made today's celebration the extraordinary experience it was. At least I had an extraordinary time. I trust you did too. I want to say thank you to our keepers of the flames, Sherry and Sue, guiding us in our reading, affirmation, and in prayer. Thank you so much to Elizabeth Quinn Worrell. Where did she go? Did she step out? Oh, she's in the bookstore. She's helping in the book. She does it all. Grateful to Elizabeth. I want to say thank you to Dawn Brazil for leading us in meditation this morning, Sherry Hoffman for guiding us in the blessing, and for their service as prayer chaplains on duty following this sharing today. I also want to say thank you to Reverend William Gill for guiding us in the blessing and in the offering. Our hospitality team, all of our volunteers, our greeters, our ushers, everyone. It takes a village, let me tell you, it takes a village. I want to say thank you to our technical team, Wally, Jim, Rowan, and Kyle in the back there. Thank you so much. Let's say thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Let's say thank you to our music team, Linda, Raphael, Paul, and Aaron. Yay, yay, yay. Stand up and give you a bow. Thank you to Beryl Varno for guiding us in song today. To complete our time here, let us share together this prayer of divine awareness. I am infinite light. I am infinite love. I am infinite power. I am infinite presence. Wherever God is, I am. Wherever I am, God is. And so it is. Amen. Feel free to move your body on our closing song.
I had a dream so big and loud, I jumped so high, I touched the clouds. Oh, 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 oh.